Hello, y'all. How y'all doing this evening? It's good to see all of y'all. T-Girl, Red, Benjamin, Dorinda. Saw time first. Kind of beat Dorinda here. Shane, Anna Marie, Ray. It's good to see all of y'all. Frank, how are you? It's gonna be a little different. Just kind of, sort of. Patrick, good to see you. I've been seeing, well, maybe I haven't been seeing. I've been feeling like um, something's happening, and it was getting in my head, and so I was like, I can't, I can't allow this. So I'm clearing my head. And if y'all are feeling the same way, hopefully it'll help you too. Um, God first, right? There can be good people out there with good intentions, or there can be good people out there with not so good intentions, but maybe they don't realize it. Hi, Garrett. How are you? Debs? It doesn't feel good for sure. So I'm not the only one feeling it. Okay. I'm Huckleberry. How are you? So I keep saying the only way to override the negative is with positive. We've got to stay positive. And we can't lose that faith. We can't lose that love. We can't lose heart. And we definitely can't lose our minds. Eric, Mary, good to see you. So the best way to do that is to keep our eyes focused, our minds focused on God first, and then just what we can do where we're at. And I know we're all in different places, we're all in different areas, we're all in different places in our lives with what we're doing, and we're all in different financial situations. It's a lot of things are different between us, but here we are all together like a family. That's the way I think of y'all. And I'm glad to see y'all every day, or almost every day. Yeah, Ray, your name needs to be the same on and off screen. I kind of zapped you last night. Sorry about that. Yes, ma'am, Mary, I agree. Loves the garden. It's good to see you, honey. So, I have a couple of videos I want to show y'all. And I hope they're not too preachy. Um, I know how it feels to be preached at, and it shouldn't be that way, I don't think. It should be um, something that speaks to us, but that you don't feel condemned or something afterwards. Just, I'll just share it with you and see what y'all think. But it just seemed to fit what we're going through right now. And if any of y'all need prayers, let me know. I'm a little jittery today and battling that demon, but maybe I should start with a prayer. Get it out of here. Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we ask you to just take each of us, everyone in chat, everyone in the community, just protect us, Lord, from all this evil around us. You can see it's getting stronger and affecting us all in different ways. Father, I ask you to just bind him up, keep us in protection. I demand you, Satan, to stay away. Father, we thank you for bringing us together today. And let us find some wisdom and knowledge from you in some way. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen. Coffee's good, Garrett. Doesn't mean you're going to be up a while. All right. Let me see if I can pull up this video without whacking everybody or something. I don't know if y'all have heard of Derek Johnson, but he's putting out some pretty amazing videos. Like D-Dog comes around and says, and it's a powerful way to look at things. It makes you, he's very hopeful. If y'all get a chance, just try to listen to some of his videos. I don't know that they're under him. The one I found was under someone else, and Red might be able to share a link to that. All right, here we go. Should I keep it like that? Yeah, I'll just keep it.
Now today I want to talk about facing your giants. It's easy to talk about giants as long as they're lumbering over someone else's landscape. But when you find them at your doorstep, or discover that one has invaded your home, or even more dangerously come inside your head, you realize how intimidating a giant can be. They have several names, these giants of ours. There's a giant called fear. Even though most of us don't want to admit it, most of us entertain fears. Whatever may be your giant, let me tell you that I've learned over the years that giants work most effectively in valleys. When we have hit a valley, that's when the giant begins to march toward us and intimidates us the most. There's a giant that appears in the pages of the scriptures in the 17th chapter of 1 Samuel, a story you have heard since you were a child in Sunday school. We read in verse 2 of 1 Samuel 17 that Saul and his men, the men of Israel, had gathered and camped in the valley of Elah. And what makes the valley intimidating is not the landscape. It is the presence of a champion. He's called that more than once in this chapter. In fact, the emphasis always falls on the externals when you deal with giants. In this case, we read that the Philistines stood on the mountain on one side and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, and the valley between them. Then a champion came out from the armies of the Philistines named Goliath. I know you know the story. I know you're familiar with where it's going, but I want to ask you for a few moments to put yourself in that valley and to imagine looking across the way and seeing this huge, imposing individual in full armor. We read that he was about 9 feet 7 inches tall. He says, choose a man for yourselves and let him come down. If he's able to fight with me and kill me, we will become your servants. And we read they were intimidated to the point, into verse 11, that they gave way to dismay and fear. See it? Greatly afraid. There he is for everyone to see. He's a warrior from his earliest years, and he is nobody to mess with. And Israel knew it, and all retreated to their tents. Now suddenly the text moves us about 10, 15 miles due east to a little hamlet named Bethlehem. And there at Bethlehem there is a family. And the father, whose name is Jesse, says to this young man, David, I want you to take this to those who are in battle. And he gives him some supplies, some food. He sees this situation for the first time. And he hears the voice of Goliath. David, who is unintimidated, fresh out of the field, he is a lover of God, and his heart is pure. Now listen to Saul. Saul said to David, you're not able to do it. Isn't that encouraging? He says, you're but a youth, and he's been a warrior from the Lord who delivered me. Look at his eyes. His eyes are on the Lord. What a wonderful way to deal with giants. As the Lord delivered me from the paw of the lion, the paw of the bear, well, he'll deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. And chose 5 smooth stones from the brook and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in his pouch. So he takes this pouch he's got hanging from his waist, and he puts these stones in his pouch. And we read, and he approached the Philistine. David stands there with the stones rattling in the bag on his hip and a stick in his hand. And David says to him, you come to me with a sword and a spear and a javelin. I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have taunted. Verse 49, David put his hand into the bag, took from it a stone, and struck the Philistine and killed him. And he brought the head to Jerusalem. And notice in verse 54, he put the weapons in his tent, David's tent. Don't go too quickly over this wrap up of the battle. That's significant. What else is in David's tent? How about the paw of a bear? How about the mane of a lion or the tail? Just a reminder of those lion and bear moments when God wrought a victory through him, he put the weapons in his tent. All giants seem larger than they really are. You think you'll not be able to get control over whatever that giant is. It seems larger than it really is. It's not larger than our God. It's not larger than your Savior. Never forget your own lion and bear stories. Every one of you has some. I have some. That's why I say to you, don't ever forget what God has done for you. It's a little cliche, count your many blessings. You can put it that way, but think of them as God's powerful working in and through your life. Never forget your own lion and bear stories. Remember that magnificent, impossible situation that God turned around for you. Remember that prayer that you offered in a weak faith, and by the grace of God, he answered. Following every giant victory, place a reminder in your mental trophy case. When the crucial moment arrives, remember these 5 words. The battle is the Lord's. The battle is the Lord's. The day you take on a giant in your own flesh is a day you will face defeat. All the way through this episode, this brief battle, David's focus is on the Lord his God. No wonder he's called a man after God's own heart. Everybody else focused on the giant. David realized that his God was greater than any giant. There is no giant so great that he is not greater still.
No giant greater, right? His name is Emmett. All right, T-girl. Father, we come to you and we ask you to please put your healing hands over Emmett, T-girl's great nephew that's going to have surgery. We ask you to guide the surgeons. Let him be okay. Fix whatever the issue is that's with his heart. Lord, he's just a child, and we know that he is still one of yours. Father, please give his parents comfort and strength to go through this. They're going through several battles at this time. So many have had losses. So many are struggling. Father, please just let them feel the touch of your hand. Let them know that you're there. We ask for your divine intervention. And make all things as they should be. Let your will be done. In Jesus' name, amen. You're welcome, Tico. I know that's tough. We have a lady in this town, her grandson has heart problems and he's had several surgeries. And just months ago, she lost her oldest son to suicide. I saw her yesterday and did, just didn't even know what to say. I wasn't near her car, but words just aren't enough. We just keep them in our prayers. Hey, Carl. Discernment. Good to see y'all. So I'm going to show y'all this one other video. It's a miracle. Just know that miracles are still happening. I always forget to mute before. I'll be right back.
The front grill of a car looked like it was coming the wrong direction.
On August 11th, 2014, David Fredrickson and his driving partner were driving on I-10 near Biloxi, Mississippi, when David's dash cam recorded a tragic crash.
It was a pretty big explosion. And then the road, the car, everything was on fire.
As flames engulfed the car, David grabbed the fire extinguisher in his truck and ran toward the scene of the accident, afraid of what he might find.
When I got out of the truck and I pulled the pin, just automatically I was praying, God, please don't let me have to deal with somebody halfway burned alive screaming. I didn't want to see anything like that. My first reaction is I didn't think they were alive.
As David fought the fire, something caught his eye.
I seen this little head pop up in the back window. And immediately I was like, wow, they're alive.
Trapped in the car was a woman and her 2-year-old granddaughter.
The lady was laying in the front seat and she was trying to kick the door open.
David tried to help pull the door open. Time was running out.
I heard the metal bending, but I'm a pretty good sized guy. And if you watch the video, you kind of see me jerking on it to get it open, but it wouldn't open.
Once more, he prayed.
At that point, what could I do? I didn't know. I had never been in a situation like that.
As other motorists came to help, the door finally broke free.
And then in the back seat, that little head, I seen it pop up again. And I just, out of the corner of my eye, I seen some other people showing up. So I got into the back seat. I grabbed the little girl. I reached in, she grabbed me around the neck.
While others pulled the woman to safety, David carried the granddaughter safely to the side of the interstate.
It was surreal that they were okay. I mean, I didn't think anybody could live through it, truthfully.
David believes God intervened and used him to help rescue them.
The car was just on fire there. I didn't burn my hands. It wasn't hot. I mean, I do believe that he protected me and protected them. If I would have been 20 seconds sooner, I would have been down the road. If I would have been 10 seconds sooner, it would have been me she hit. I have never met the lady, but I'm just very happy that I was able to help her that day.
As David travels the nation's highways, he's ready and willing to be used again by God.
When you have a relationship with God, supernatural happens all the time. The little girl, I know that God's got plans for her. That's why he protected her that day. God puts people where they need to be. it just reassures me that if he needs me and he puts me in front of somebody that needs my help, I help him. You got to listen to God.
That was pretty amazing, wasn't it? Yeah, I forget it's a holiday weekend. Except for yesterday when I went to that reunion and saw the traffic. Thankfully, I haven't been hearing sirens every 30 minutes. Red, thank you for putting all those links out. Yeah, he truly was put at that place at the right time. I would hope so, discernment. It's kind of scary when you see a car burning because you know it can explode, but once he saw that little head, there was no stopping him, I'm sure. Yeah, my brother's one of those miracles. He's in California and um, he works for Caltrans. He was pulling into the job site. His partner, best friend, was with him. And for whatever reason, his best friend unhooked his seatbelt because they were fixing to pull into the job site. They were waiting for traffic to let them turn left. And as they were turning, a car flew over the hill and hit them. And so there were 5 people in that accident, and my brother was the only survivor. And they didn't think he survived. And they finally got to him to check him and felt a pulse and started working on him right away. The family was called to go to California, and um, he was in one of those rotating beds, crushed bones in his face, his whole body. And I had the churches here praying. I had the churches in Kentucky praying. Anybody I knew, we were all just praying that he would make it. And they said he'd never walk again. Um, if he did make it, and he would have brain damage, and That was in 1994, and he is still working for Caltrans. He will retire next year. And he's walking, he had an amazing physical therapist. All the workers of Caltrans got together and gave their vacation time because he was in the hospital for months and out of work for whole lot longer. Wait a minute. How about a song? You want a song? Let's see. No. This one just touched me.
I want to dedicate this song to my friend Randy Weaver. He is the pastor of the Lone Star Cowboy Church in Montgomery, Texas. His father was a preacher. His brother is a preacher. He's a cowboy. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not ever going to be a preacher, and I'm not one of those guys that's going to get up on stage and act like I'm something I'm not. I'm not going to quote you Bible verses and tell you how you ought to live. But I know that God has made a difference in my life and given him my full faith that all I have to do is my job, because he put me on this earth to do this job. All I have to do is do my job, not be egotistical and stay out of the way, and he's going to take care of me and my family. And that's what's happened so far. Randy gave me the conviction of, for a long time I was saying, I'd like to thank the man upstairs for giving me a career. And Randy, as eloquently as he can be sometimes, said, would it kill you to say Jesus Christ? Would it kill you to say his name? And I was like, wow, okay. So the first show we played after that was my first time at the Houston Rodeo in front of about 60,000 people. And that was the first time I'd said, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And it became a thing. It became a thing that now I do every night. I feel it appropriate that we're here doing the church sessions to say that. Sorry if that offends you. It's just the way I am. I'd like to give thanks to Randy and give all the glory to God. This is a song that I'd completely forgotten that I'd written. And my mom actually reminded me about it. I wrote it on Christmas Day in 2004. To Randy's point, this song was called His Name is Jesus. I think it was all part of his plan to kind of give me that ego check, to have a song like this on a record that is my first major label debut, #1 on Billboard, all these streams, all these downloads. I felt like he wanted to make his point for this record, for this moment right here. So here it is. This is the exact same way we recorded it in the studio. Jody, Jake, and I, a couple of mics, sitting around and playing it like a country song. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. At the mention of his name, walls crumble, lives are changed. In the midst of life's temptations, he's there to see us through. This man of which I speak is here today for you and me. His name is Jesus, but you can call him as you please. They call him Emmanuel, the King of all kings. He's the Son of the Father, the Prince of rock of ages, but he's a friend to me. Many times I've called his name, prayed for forgiveness when used in vain. Oh, but there's a peace in knowing his forgiveness, it stays the same. Most famous in his story, things he spoke, whole world still reads. His name is Jesus, but you can call him as you please. They call him Emmanuel, the King of all kings. He's the Son of the Father, the Prince of Peace. They call him Hosanna, the lighthouse at sea, the rock of ages. He's a friend to me. They call him Hosanna, the lighthouse at sea, the rock of ages, but he's a friend to me. The rock of ages, but he's a friend to me.
That was a good one. Putting up the link. Discernment, I saw your comment about first responders. All my family was on the fire department, and it's not me. I could not go to accidents and stuff. And I've been in this community for almost 40 years, and most of them you're going to know personally. We're a small community, and my sons had some pretty traumatic stuff. My oldest son was in it the longest, but he has some after effects. Thank you, Country Homesteading. I'm not a church. I'm not a preacher. I'm just trying to find my way like everybody else. Yes, Black Watch, I am, actually. There you go, discernment. Fireworks and preaching. One way to light up the sky, huh? I don't know that I could preach. I can just and pray. I can read scripture. I'm pretty close, Black Watch.
Hello, Bonnie.
Yeah. Whoops, I'm going to turn you down, hon.
Am I too loud?
Little.
I turned me down too. Is that better?
Let me see.
Hello, hello.
Now try.
Hello, hello.
Okay. You're good.
Okay. I know I turned you up earlier, not for the videos, but for you talking because I couldn't hear you. So I just turned it down too.
I'm sorry.
What did you say? Speak up.
I said, I'm sorry.
I know I heard you. I was being a jackass. Sorry.
Okay, Dorinda.
I'm sorry. I'm in a really, really good mood. I had a really, really good night last night and a great day today. So I'm just in la la land.
Okay.
Where's Shane?
Discernment, you're getting all that storm, the rain. We were supposed to. I think we got, well, it was yesterday. We got a bit of a rain, but goodness, we need more. And it keeps happening all around me.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You've been having a really, really, really great show tonight, Bonnie, so far.
Thank you.
And I hope me coming up here doesn't ruin it. But hey, we'll try. We'll be positive. I'm
Well,
not going to ruin it.
I can always boot you if I need to. No.
Can we go to the store before it gets too dark?
I'm live, baby.
It's okay, Bonnie. Go talk to your daughter, your granddaughter, whatever. I'll tell
Oh,
everybody
no.
about my party.
No, she wanted me to drive her to the store.
Oh,
That's not just a short little
oh,
5-minute
okay.
thing. Hi, stands alone.
Hello, stands alone. I got to see the Aurora Borealis last night.
Awesome.
And I got to see like a gazillion million stars.
Did you get a video?
No, my phone was dead.
That's okay. You got to enjoy it.
I enjoyed every minute of it. I sat in my chair and I like conversations are going on and I was just sitting there looking at the stars and all of a sudden everybody got really quiet and they're like, "What are you looking at?" I said, "The stars." And they're like, "Well, don't you see that at your house?" I said, "Not like this. I might see 3 stars up in the sky at my house." I said,
Because
"I
of the
see
light.
hundreds of stars. I'm in amazement right now." And they're like,
Yes.
"Wow." I'm like, I'm just in amazement. And then
If you
then
have a
some,
lot of lights around you, you can't see the stars.
yeah, I live in the city. I can't see the stars. I might see,
Yeah.
like I said, 3 if I'm lucky. But then we were all looking at the stars, and all of a sudden somebody yelled, "Look over there! Look, look, look! It's the Northern Lights!" And so we all were all, and none of us grabbed our phones. to take pictures. We're all standing there dumbfounded looking at these lights. They were like blue lights. Oh, it was awesome. And then one would shoot up from the ground, or from the ceiling down, from the sky down into the ground. It was amazing.
That is great. I'm glad you
It
got to see that.
was like, wow. I have seen green ones before, but I'd never actually seen blue ones. So that was just a thrill for me.
That is cool.
I was like,
And discernment, I've been in an earthquake. You don't want that.
I'd never been in any situation like that, and I wouldn't want to be because I'd probably freak out.
Well, from 1 year old to 5 years old, we lived in San Francisco, and I can remember sitting in the bathtub in an earthquake and the water sloshing, and no.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad we didn't stay there.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And that's what my brother does. He builds bridges, and so he has to make sure that they can withstand the
Yeah.
earthquakes or whatever happens. So
Yeah.
he's the brain
And big
over
winds,
there.
and, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound stupid there, but I mean, sometimes we get really big winds.
Yes. But yeah, they're on the coast of California, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. But oh, it was so beautiful. And we got to sleep in what used to be my husband's trailer for deer hunting, but they decided they were going to move the trailer and they were going to take it apart. So they took part of it apart. So we had to put a tarp up over one end of the trailer in case so animals and rain couldn't get in, but it didn't rain. But yeah, they were surprised that we slept there.
That's cool.
I didn't really
Hi,
want to.
Eric. How are
I
you?
didn't really
Hello,
want to.
Bonnie. How'd you render?
It's not very big. Sorry, Eric.
Okay. Just saying good evening.
Hello. How are you?
Pretty good, actually. How was your trip? Good?
Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
There you go.
If I had more thumbs, I'd put them all up.
Okay, Black Watch, if you're squeaking, I'm going to ask you to go back and chat. Let's see what happens.
All the controls and StreamYards to mono, it should go okay. Zoom, it works fine. I don't know.
I don't hear any squeaking tonight. So far.
Nope, I don't either.
Awesome.
I don't squeak. I'm not that old yet. But, you know,
Yes, you were squeaking.
I am?
The other night you were.
No, not tonight, but you were.
No, that's before I set the control on speakers to mono. That brings on the noise cancellation program, so it should be okay.
The other night you were walking it too, so.
Because I
I
haven't
agree,
set.
Gigi. He killed himself today, so he's good.
Anna Marie, I saw that comment earlier. Eh?
Did you see the sheep? Dorinda, did you see the sheep of light? The northern lights been going sheets like rain.
He oiled himself today.
So, Blackwatch, how you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Apparently, I'm not squeaking, so I guess I'm good.
Well, it's normally a good sign, yeah.
How has your weekend been, Eric?
Uh, pretty decent. On and off rain, high heat. Same old, same old.
Your puppy dog.
Little Minnie, she's actually
Yeah.
having a real good night tonight, so I don't want to jinx it. So she's doing okay. But at that age, she could, go in her sleep. So what the
hell
heck
was
is that?
Watch.
You need more oil.
Country homesteading, I hope you're able to come back, but if not, thank you for coming by.
See you later, country.
That too.
Wow.
No, Gigi, I have not dug into the linen closet. That probably won't be till like Wednesday. Sorry, that Shane made me laugh.
So how are you doing, Bonnie?
Better now.
You went on quite early tonight, Bonnie. Was there a reason?
Well, I'm gonna have my granddaughter after a while, and just don't know how long we'll be doing this. So I was,
Awesome.
and I know Shane usually goes on at this time, and I told him, "Be you if you want to go on. That's fine." It's I don't know. For the past few days, I've just been feeling this like just kind of dark, and I don't like that. And
Is it like a dark weight on you?
yeah, and and I'm seeing others, and I'm seeing fear, and I just we can't be in fear. We just cannot. That is not a good fear.
No.
It's not healthy, and it's not of God.
I had a weird conversation at the party. I was telling people that they had to really read their ingredients of things because they are putting cricket flour in things. Okay, I did not expect to get the response I did. Okay. Their thought was, okay, not anything bad. They thought it was a good thing that they were using alternatives because it gives more options, especially for the keto people. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's the correct term or not, but
Sounds good to me.
A certain diet because they can't use flour.
Yes.
I don't
know keto or keto.
But they were saying that it would be a good option for that, and I'm like, I never thought of it as a good option, and I still don't think of it as a good option.
And
but I was like, I was really taken aback, and I'm like, okay, that's a different way. That was a totally unexpected, different way of thinking about it.
And see, that's where we're at, though. It's like, because I said something to my daughter about it, and she said, "Mom, it's really a thing. It's not what you're thinking." Well, I'm sorry. If it says cricket or grasshopper, I'm thinking it's going to be a cricket or a grasshopper. And so, but we're at those times where it's like, are we over analyzing everything? Are we Are we looking for something to get us all worked up? And uh, I just, I mean, I went and checked I got some self-rising flour, and I was like, I don't usually use self-rising flour, but some of the recipes that I've seen, quick and easy self-rising flour is a good thing to have on hand for biscuits and stuff like that. So I went and checked it. There's no cricket flour in it. So it's all good.
Yeah, but like I was like, after talking to them, I was like, I never thought of it that way. And I guess that is an option. That's not something I'm going to eat.
Oh,
But if you guys want to eat crickets, go right ahead.
you see what Kim says? There are several alternatives to wheat flour. There's no reason to turn to bugs, crickets, hairy tapeworm. There's an informative video on that. They also have an ingredient at that the human body cannot digest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. And I
Yep.
know with my daughter, she's gluten free, and so she can't have any gluten. And we have almond flour, we have rice flour, there's a lot of other alternatives. Yeah, I'm not real crazy about eating bugs if I don't have to.
Not
I
me either.
guess if it got down to, I guess it might be kind of hard, but I don't know. You know the survival shows that they have on TV? I haven't watched them in years. I haven't watched any TV in years, but um, I remember the kids were watching that Naked and Afraid, and then there's another one that's, I think it's just called Afraid or something. I don't know, but they they eat what they can to stay alive.
Yeah. You know, Bonnie, what you were saying before about like a heaviness or a darkness. I've been I've been in and out of that for a while. Um, some days are good, some days aren't so good. Um, just recent events, recent speeches, recent, you know, streams.
Yeah.
Uh, it can wear on you. And
Yes.
fortunately, I have had a very good friend give me some good advice, and you know, it's I don't. I guess if you go by the mantra, it's got to get worse before it gets better, and if that's how things have to be, then that's how things have to be. But it is a spiritual war, I believe,
Oh, definitely. And
and we're always going to have good days and bad. And I try to be positive, but some days it's very hard, and we just gotta. Well,
yes, it is.
sometimes you got to step away for a day or two and not do any tube, and you know what I mean. And sometimes it's such a habit that it's the world we live in. I guess this is like a drug to a point, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to anyone, but it's where people can talk and you know exchange opinions, which is great. But I
Yes.
this is hard to explain the
No,
dark and then the
you're
better, and
making a
then
lot of sense, Eric.
and
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we've all got to be. Well, we're never going to all agree with each other anyway. It's never been, even the beginning of time. But you know,
Yes. But
it's
there's
just
ways to come to a middle ground. What do you call that? Compromise. That's it.
Right.
Because, you know, okay, you got two people that absolutely do not agree with each other. And they're either going to sit there and keep attacking each other, or they're going to sit there like men and talk it out and come to a compromise. Well, even not just men, it's in the families. It's That's how all of our relationships are done, with friends, with families,
Hmm.
whatever. And a lot of people are alone, and
Yes.
so I know that they come to YouTube because we can sit here and talk. You can talk and chat.
Right.
You see these people all the time, and you kind of get to know them, and
Yeah.
so it's comforting,
Hmm.
and you always know that somebody's going to be there if you need it. If you're having a
Yeah.
bad day, come in and say, "Hey, I need some lifting up," and we're all gonna do what we can to lift you up, even if it's telling a joke or
Hmm. And this community does that. Um,
yes,
I wasn't referring to, YouTube as a whole. Just like if you're having a bad day, there's enough people in the community where somebody can pick up the slack, so to speak, if you're having an off day. I'm not pointing you
yeah,
out. I'm saying because a lot of times, during the day, well, sometimes I can't get on because I'm busy, but um, I always tune in at night, whether it's
yeah,
you or Chuck, Shane, and some of my other folks in the morning. But it is a place to get answers or get support. And like we
yeah,
said, a lot of people don't have that.
that's true. Outside of here,
Right.
yeah, it is, and
And I've made a lot of friends on this platform, all over. And
yeah,
it's
we all have. That's I just love it that here we are with Canadians, UK, Tony and Katie,
right.
all over the place and all over the states, and
Mhm.
because I don't get out of Texas, I don't travel, and so meeting people who we can relate and have a lot of the same goals and thoughts, and even the struggles. We are all going through a lot of the same struggles. That
Yes.
so it makes you not feel so alone in during those struggles too.
Hmm.
Even though we know God is there, it still helps to talk to a person about it.
Yes.
You ever notice something, at least in modern history, at least 100 and some odd years, every decade had something. When you look at it, every
Hmm.
decade had something.
Yeah.
Something that moved life sideways for a while.
Yes,
And why would this be any different?
It
yeah,
isn't.
It would have been nice to get by with it without, but it does happen. Maybe this time it'd be over within the first 4 or 5 years,
yeah,
Well,
And
and
you
that not only that Black Watch, but in my lifetime, I mean, I've never seen as much craziness as I see today. I'm talking worldwide, not just here.
yes,
I mean, you know, you see something going on in other countries that will eventually affect us. That weighs on everybody.
it does, because we are not used to it.
Right.
We're not used. We are not a third world third world country. We are not used to seeing people um, getting bombed or shot, and so it's, well, I mean, some people in the cities, I guess, might be used to some of that.
Yeah.
I'm not. Uh, that's, and everyone thinks that Texas just goes down to shooting people, and no, we don't.
Dorinda, you.
Yes.
What did you think of the way she said Canadians?
I thought it was excellent. I thought she was going to add a little juice to that, but I figured I better be
I
quiet.
thought, you know what? I thought she was going to say A right after.
For a
But
minute,
she apologized.
for a minute there, I thought it was-
Apologized. So hey, I really think that Bonnie is part Canadian somewhere in her hereditary. She's part Canadian because that's the story.
for a minute there, I thought I was sitting in a taxidermy shop. I didn't know which way.
Well, we can arrange that.
What did I say?
Nothing. It's just a joke.
Okay.
It was funny, Bonnie.
There
But
is an English
even
expression for
someone
that.
in chat mentioned that you were talking like a Canadian because you were apologizing.
Yes. Okay.
Dorinda, you and I both know that's a fantasy. That is just not true.
No, it is true. We apologize if we walk down the street crooked.
Y'all apologize a lot. And
Well, but when you say to someone who just doesn't get it, we often say to them, "I'm sorry, you're so stupid."
Well, yeah, we
How
do
are
that
you happy?
too. But we're doing that sarcastically. But a lot of times we apologize for things that have nothing to do with us, period. And I do it at work a lot. If the computer screws up, I apologize because the computer screwed up. And then I just call the computer a dickhead and the customer laughs.
Ooh, where's the jar? Where's the jar?
she knows where it is.
That's not a swear.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. I didn't say the GD word. I'm good so far.
Let's face it, Dorinda, they got
I'm
to find.
behaving. It's fine.
If you got fined a quarter each time, before the first weekend's gone, your first 6 months' pay will be gone. Let's face it.
Well, thought about it. Hey, I donated $25 to Bonnie's coffee club. If I have to donate more, I will. But I'm trying to behave. Oh, and Red put the sweater up already for me. And you notice how I said that, Red? For me. But to me, that's not a swear. And if it is, Bonnie, I apologize. And if
It's
you need me
okay.
to put $5 in the swear jar, I'll put $5 in the swear jar.
No, you're good. You've been overflowing.
Because that's not a swear.
My nose just got itchy. Is there a squirrel in here somewhere?
Did you see what Shane put
Yeah,
Bonnie?
she came in and
Yes,
out.
I see that. What in the world? Okay, Dorinda.
I did.
I see Red put the swear jar link up, so that's good.
Well, yeah, she did because I said the D word. But it wasn't a bad word.
Well, calling somebody that is kind of a
I was calling a computer that.
okay.
I
I'd
wasn't
be out of
calling
money
a
if I hung out here too long.
that. And I say the computer's being a bonehead. I'll use that word instead. But I
Gotta watch out for
use the D
Red.
word.
You gotta watch out for Red. She's a gunslinger. She got Blackwatch
I
the
know.
other day for 300 seconds. Took
Uh,
a vote. Took a vote. Is that why you left Blackwatch?
Watch the can of worms you open. I've moderated for years. There's certain way you do this. Anyway,
Yeah, that was all in good fun.
Never did
Anna
that.
Marie, I'm not sure if sorry is like saying or ah, but we say sorry as many times as you guys say or ah. Oh, whatever that word. Oh, sorry.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like she is Canadian.
I try to say, not say. Do I say that a lot?
Do you what?
Do I say a lot? Um, um, when
Um, um,
um,
um, yes, you do.
I don't know.
I'm not. You do, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yikes.
That's the way God made you. So yeah.
Yeah, but I had a history teacher that I absolutely did not learn anything from because he said every two words and he talked really slow and so there was no way to get anything good out of what he was talking about.
I had teachers like that too, Bonnie. Did you also have? I gotta ask you a question, Bonnie. And
What?
you can say no, and you can say be quiet. You can tell me to leave, whatever. Did you ever have a teacher that anytime he spoke, doesn't matter if it's to you or someone else, the teacher always spit on the person?
Ew. No.
It was disgusting. And I would,
I guess no.
he would come and he would sit at my table, and I would sit
Well,
back like that, and I'd be like pushing his head away from me.
that's what I was
And
going to say. I never let any of the teachers
he's like,
get
why are
close
you
enough.
doing that? I'm like, I don't want your spit, thank you. And he's like, well, you don't need to be rude. I said, I'm not being rude. I'm being polite right now. And I personally do not want your spit in my face. So if you keep your face over there, you're not going to spit in my face. If your face comes close to me, you're going to spit on my face, and I'm going to get really ticked off, and you're not going to like me then. And he goes,
Okay, we need to change the subject, maybe.
okay,
That's just kind of.
gross.
No, I remember one teacher in elementary that had a bottle in his desk drawer. He was an older man, and of course, we all knew what was in the bottle. And uh, then I had that one that just kept saying and then we had another one that he was um, there I go. When I don't know how to say something, I say Hey, that explains the history teacher. He was a coach. He shouldn't have been teaching history. But our math teacher, he liked to uh, stand above the girls and look down their tops. Or
Oh boy.
yeah. So we all made sure he couldn't. Just we just stayed away from him. Let's put it that way.
You know what?
That's funny.
Knowing me, he'd have got smacked.
Oh, I
Well,
believe it.
Dorinda,
And then I would have had to go to the principal's office, and I would have had to explain why I smacked the teacher.
yes.
And then I would have had the police called, and there you go. And that's how I would have done things, even back in public school.
Well, Dorinda, I hate to tell you, but that's not always the way to solve the problem.
I know it's not always the way to solve the problem, but in my situation and the way that I grew up, that's the way that worked for me. I'm not saying it was the right situation. And I tried to teach my kids other ways to do it, but I also taught my kids how to defend themselves. So whether I was right or wrong, I did what I could.
So when they my daughter, they put a rubber band on her wrist. And they said, anytime you feel like that, pop that rubber band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Snap it.
We had one in grade 11 with a business machine, and teacher was very concerned about how a man kept himself, shall we say. And the one guy said to him, "You leave me alone. Just leave me sitting here, you know, and or I've been punching him out." He went 2 weeks. He stood up and punched him in the mouth, decked him out, went down the office. He asked for it. He was told, leave him alone. So I'll side with Dorinda on that one. Sometimes you don't have a choice.
Black Watch and D-Dog, because D-Dog said something in the comments.
And,
That's good discernment. So
yeah,
let her.
yeah, really. Devil Dog's got the point. Sometimes the hands of the clock need resetting.
Yep.
Or they get you wound up too much.
It might
Yes.
like I said, it may not have been the appropriate response, but that was all that I had.
Well, I think that we need to think more before we react. Like,
Yeah.
even in the things we say, we need to think about what we're saying, and is this going to hurt someone? Because we're not supposed to hurt anyone in any way, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever.
But what if they're trying to hurt you? Then you have to stand up for yourself and not take no crap.
It depends on what you label hurting. I mean,
somebody's trying to stick their nose and their eyes down my top, that's not appropriate.
well, no.
Most times it's very hard to live your life, your own individual life. What can you imagine living the life somebody else assigned for you? No way. I agree with Dorinda. Some people just don't take the hint.
Well, and so they started teaching, and that's where boundaries come in. You set up your boundaries and you let them know you're in my space, or and you're in my space can mean any of those things, physically, mentally, spiritually, however. You're in my space and it's not a good place to be. And then if they don't get the hint and continue, maybe you need to be a little more forceful, but
No,
I
just
don't
like
know. I just
Not only that, Bonnie, but with the current world situation, people are already on a hair trigger.
Yes, they are.
And I've seen more road rage incidents down where I live than, I could drive 5 or 6 blocks and there's somebody flipping someone off, or,
Yes.
it's like, you don't know what they've got in their car. Probably not a good idea to be a tough guy and, just move along. Because I've seen it happen where it turns out bad.
Yeah. I have a daughter that loves the horn. And so if she sees someone talking on their cell phone, she'll start honking at them. If she sees somebody do something stupid, she'll start honking at them. And sometimes they might get a hand signal. And so I'm constantly telling her, can you calm down? Just breathe. And as long as they're not in our lane, if they're not trying to hit us, just breathe. Just
she wouldn't want to see some of the things I'd seen, like Eric. We had a major 4-way thing in Whitby, so he had to go one street north to go to a coffee shop. And I went to the stop sign. There's an Astro van with a woman in it with a kid. And a guy in a black car beside her. So what? He's going through. He gets out. He literally smashed her side of the window with his fist. She drove away against the red light. Like, you don't know. If he kept going, I would have done something. He always carries something in the truck, That was uncalled for, but It surprised even me. Didn't even cut his fist. But anyway.
Of this chat. Oh, Dorinda's gone.
I'm back. Sorry,
You know,
what did I miss?
D-Dog, I used to go to anger management, had to stop going. It pissed me off. And then
Yep,
T-Girl,
been there, done that. My
yeah, I
comment.
have to agree.
if Dorinda had a rubber band on her hand, she would just curse because it hurt. Just kidding.
No, I would. You know what? I would end up going like this to the people that pissed me off. But, I went to anger management, and I was looking for solutions, and they weren't giving me any solutions. They weren't giving me anything except telling me that I was wrong, telling me that I was little, telling me that I knew nothing. And I'm like, you can stick this up your butt because you're not helping people. That's not what they want. They don't want to be told that they're little. They don't want to be told that their comments mean nothing. They want to be helped, and you're not helping.
You've got a point, Dorinda. Personally, if somebody started to talk to me about something, I knew what they were going to say. I knew it already. And you cut them off. And what I learned is what they call validation. Listen to them anyway. You know, have a point. And at the end of it, you still get screwed. You know, you knew this all along. Whatever. But you know, as Canadians, there's a few points in my life, just like Dorinda, I had to apologize for the person running into my fist. Thought that was not a good trait. Watch where you're walking. Bonnie, you don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice of what.
I'm saying sometimes in your life you can't turn and walk away. Where you live that life. You live somebody else's life.
No, I don't live somebody else's life. And yes, Anna Marie, that's what I mean. Okay, I've been in, I think, 3 fights in my life, maybe 4. But I never started it. I never did anything to provoke it. It was like someone telling someone that I did something that I didn't, stupid stuff like that. But I stood there, let them hit me a couple of times, no big deal. And if they didn't stop, then okay, protection time. But no, I never caused a fight. I never just punched someone out of anger or anything like that. I just couldn't do that. That's not.
I have.
Not,
because
well,
I was defending.
that.
Because not because I wanted to fight the person, but the person was abusing someone else, and I was standing up for that person. Yes, I got into those kinds of fights.
Well, I've gotten between people who were okay. If I see a man mistreating a woman, I worked at a bar for a little while, bartending, and so stupid me, I got in between them, and usually if the woman didn't want that behavior, she would leave. So I really shouldn't have got in the middle of that, because that was stupid on my part. But you live and learn, right?
And you don't look the least bit like Wade Garrett, I gotta tell you. That's the cooler. You know,
I didn't understand that, Black Watch.
no, the movie Roadhouse, the main cooler was Wade Garrett. You don't look anything like him. I don't think you should have took on that role at a bar.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of little.
Yeah.
But it's just something I hate to see people fighting. It just, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Verbally or physically or anything. It's just, I try to get away from it. But I've had friends like Dorinda that they seem to enjoy it. I
Well,
don't
you know
know.
what? When I was younger, I did enjoy it. It felt good to protect someone that couldn't protect themselves. It
Well,
felt
I
good.
understand
No,
that.
it felt good to put the person that was abusing that other person, it felt good to put them down. I'll admit that. I have no problems admitting that.
I can
Now,
understand that.
now that I am older, I try not to have a physical altercation.
Right. I mean, if I saw somebody like the subway incident, okay, you would see a different Bonnie. Excuse me. It's if I saw uh, kids fighting, I'd probably grab both by the ear and separate them and talk this out, stop it. But at the same time, back in the day, that's how you solved your differences, and you usually shook hands and became friends. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Fist fights
People,
turned into friendships, right?
yes,
For the most
exactly.
part.
Yes,
At least with guys, they did. With girls, girls would hate each other forever. At least,
some
Not
girls.
always.
not
Not
always,
always.
but the
Yeah,
school I went to, the girl fights were better than the guy fights. Not that we watched, but
They're
I mean,
nasty. They were nasty. And it was a
they-
girl on guy fight. Oh, those were nastier than you can imagine.
well, you can't hit a girl. All you can do is throw her off you. So,
Well,
there's a lot of
sometimes,
men that'll hit a
sometimes
girl.
they do hit the girl. And when the girl gets up and kicks their ass, I'm sorry, that's the best part of the fight. And yes, I have seen those.
Sorry, I keep coughing. I have that allergy so bad. Guess because of the rain. I don't know. It was in the smoke. They were barbecuing at the reunion thing yesterday, and
How was the reunion thing, Bonnie?
it was great. I saw so many people that I haven't seen in like 20 years or more. And
Awesome.
I even had to go to the motel to hunt one down because she had left just before I got there.
Oh, wow.
So we swapped phone numbers and we'll keep in touch.
Awesome.
hmm.
Hello, Bear Truth.
Hi,
Hello,
Bear. How are you?
Christina.
Hey, Bonnie.
I saw you earlier, but I couldn't talk. I'm sorry.
Yes, Eric.
Would you mind if I make a request? Our fellow friend Red uh, got me a good link to some Manuka honey, which is the medical grade
Yes,
honey,
yes,
and just the straight honey, and then the stuff with the silver gel for wounds. And I've been
yes,
taking care of my mother's diabetic wounds on her legs for probably about 12 years now. You know, they come and go. It's just
yes.
part of the, I guess, part of the disease. And if it's okay, Red knows the link to drop, but in 3 days, almost all of the redness is out of my mother's legs. The wound is halfway healed, and that's normally would take like 2 weeks just to get that far or that close.
God, that is
So
awesome.
That's
thank you,
awesome.
Red. Thank you, Red, for being there with the information.
That's
Yes,
that's fantastic, Eric. That's wonderful.
That's awesome news.
Yeah.
and if
Hello,
Red,
Tom Harrison.
if you want to drop those links, that's fine. Was it the blue or the colloidal silver that you were using?
I was going with both.
Oh, okay.
Um, on and off, the straight honey and then the silver and honey mix.
Yes.
And that, because I think if you do too much silver, because I used to do the wounds with just the 2x2 pads or the 4x4 pads. And, after a while, the silver actually, I wouldn't say it stopped working, but it has its limitations. So Red told me to switch back and forth from the straight honey to the silver. And well, I've never seen nothing. And again, we don't give medical advice on this channel.
No, no medical.
This is just my testimony about my mother's leg. Call your doctor before you use anything. So just put that out there as a disclaimer. This is what I've seen personally. So
Hi, Cindy. Hi, Sean. There's asking if that's the honey that gets you high.
no,
I never heard of
no,
a honey.
Jeff, it's medical grade, honey. Red's got the link somewhere.
Hello, Cindy.
Yeah, colloidal silver is good for a lot of things.
Is that a cream or a pill?
Well, they're both in tubes, so
Okay.
the honey is basically the consistency of honey, and the honey and silver mix is more like a toothpaste, but they're both in the same type of tube. Squeeze.
You can get colloidal silver in liquid, or I think there's an ointment also. I'm not sure, but I only have it in the liquid. Eric, I guess
Yeah.
their comment is to you.
Manuka honey and silver glaze. That's it.
Thank you, Red.
Thanks, Red.
Thank you.
Yeah. Somebody was saying something about a toothache, and the colloidal silver, you just kind of swish it around in your mouth and spit it out.
Mm.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Hello, NC Dubs. I'm not sure if I said hi to you earlier or not. I can't remember.
Discernment. I had a friend who had to do that also.
Yeah.
I had to give my daughter shots when she was 10 years old every day for allergies. It, well, the allergist said it's hereditary, and so my children had even worse allergies than me. And for a year, every day, give her a shot. It hurt me, I think, worse than her. And I was finally like, no more shots. And then they made it to where you could just put the drops under the tongue instead of giving the shots. So I was happy about that.
Doing that to a 2-year-old, you are not going to earn brownie points. No way. Even though it's good for them.
10-year-old. She was 10.
Oh, 10. I thought you said 2 since she was
No,
10.
not 2. That would have been difficult.
There's a reason they call it the terrible tooth. Oh my God, you cannot win
Yes.
for a year.
One of my daughters, she had to have oral surgery when she was about 2. and she had to have this thing put in her palate to her teeth weren't lined up right. And oh my goodness. And doctors and nurses, they don't care. She's sitting there trying to rip out all the wires right after the surgery. I'm sitting there holding her in my lap, and she was pretty strong for her age. She was already doing gymnastics kind of at that age. She was doing handstands. She was she was strong. And I was just sitting there like, can y'all do something? And we were in a glass room, and they would just walk by and look and keep on walking.
That's terrible.
Not something I'd want anyone's to go through with their child. It's, yep. See, Deb, the skin
Hawk just
test,
got hit for music. Oh my goodness.
but
Hawk just got hit for his music he was playing.
uh-oh.
Yep.
I've been wondering about these songs that I play. I keep on, okay, I hope this one's okay. And so far, um, if they're a cappella or if they're just acoustic, they seem to be okay.
Awesome, Gigi.
Gigi, make sure you use the actual band and not a cover band. If you're allowed to.
That's a good idea, country homesteading. Allergic to stupid. The only cure for that is to walk away from stupid.
Well, I wish it was that easy.
Okay, this time they're 30 seconds long. Cool. That'll work.
I need to be excused for just a second, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all try to behave.
I'll try.
When Gigi plays music, she usually tries to use lives, and they don't seem to touch her then. I don't know what the difference is, but...
Gone now. We can do what Ochi is here. I'm not.
Isn't it the algorithm? You can only play something for so long and then cut it and then start something different and then cut it and then I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Blackwatch, what did you say?
No, I thought Bonnie went away, and now we can do what we want. That's all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I tried that once on another channel. It didn't go too well. We were muted for about 45 minutes. Yeah.
Looks like an angel trumpet. Okay, D-Dog, we need your information on this angel trumpet 5-foot tall weed. Explain, please. Because D-Dog's a really good gardener.
You know, I wish I had, and I know it sounds like a stupid excuse, but I wish I'd had more time to garden. I don't have a huge yard, but I've got, a place where I can get as many pallets as I want down at the marina and build my own boxes and fill dirt and all that. But I don't know.
I have a 6-foot by 10-foot garden. And nice. I grow all kinds of crap in in my garden, ranging from peppers that didn't produce anything, to zucchini, to cucumbers, to corn, to spinach, nice. Squash, tomatoes, peas which died, lettuce, radishes, green onions. I grow all of those things in my garden, and carrots in a pot outside the garden.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I forget what channel, but my grandma had a garden, and she grew everything: cucumbers, tomatoes, rhubarb. She used to make strawberry rhubarb pie when I would pick the rhubarb and walk it back up to her house. And
Nice.
next to that was the compost pile. And whenever we go trout fishing in the streams, I'd go in there with a pitchfork and flip it over, and there'd be night crawlers galore in there. Coffee grounds were always thrown in the compost. Used coffee grounds.
Chat's having a spitball fight. Okay. As long as they're having fun. I've been wondering when it was going to turn into a food fight.
Well, we can do that too.
I'm not throwing food at anybody.
No.
Especially not my computer, because I'm the one that's going to have to clean it.
Well, we can't afford to
No,
waste
do that
food.
stuff.
Just search YouTube for restaurant food fight. It's loaded with them. People are crazy.
Um, so I've been talking about the things needed for survival, and we talked about air, and the next one was water.
Hmm.
Do y'all have ways to filter your water?
Yes.
I do, but I need to upgrade. I have well, if you want to call it, it's a military issue, but it's something where you're out in the field, or you can suck a bunch of water up from a stream, and then it has its own reverse osmosis in it, and it bleeds
Like a
back.
life straw?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but
I've got those. Hi, Pappy Two Bears.
I guess if it got bad enough, I've got almost 10,000 gallons of water sitting outside that I could just dip and then boil, and then
Yep.
For whatever. But I prefer the bottled water, but I don't know anymore. I'm hearing stuff about that too, that it's not really spring water, it's right out of the tap, that they're just pushing it on you.
Yeah, I don't know. I drink bottled water.
I won't buy Nestle's bottled water though.
No.
I don't like what Nestle's doing.
Right.
So I'll buy. I'm gonna say the cheaper brands of water, because I'm just like that. But I have all my water in my home is filtered. So
Yeah, coffee filters would be good. I didn't even think about that.
yeah, that would work.
Red showed us how to make the homemade Berkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was on your stream, wasn't it, Bonnie?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was pretty good.
And then, what stream was that where she made that giant sandwich? That thing
That
was
was on
huge.
mine also.
Is that yours too?
Yeah.
Not yet, Red. I'm going to order them tomorrow.
Yeah, I like recipes and
Well, I cooked a oven stuffer roaster tonight. Got a supposedly non-antibiotic, free-range Purdue chicken.
cool.
7-pounder. Pulled all the gizzards and guts out of it and boiled them on the side. It was just a little over two and a quarter hours at 350. Of course, it had the button pop up, which I don't need, but I had it, or it was already in it. So it came out good.
That's good.
Stuff it with in the core. I stuff that with cut up oranges and sweet onions. I just jam it in there. We don't eat them when the chicken's cut, but just for, I guess, moisture, and you know. And then I put a butter. I put I actually put a steak rub on it. It's called butter something. I forget the name brand too. I should keep all this stuff on doing, and that worked out too.
Quadruple ceramic filter system. I've seen the ceramic filters with the charcoal. Yeah, everything has to wait till I move.
Good idea though to have that. That's countertop.
Yes.
Take it right from the tap and let it drip down. And
Yeah. That's my mother has a water softener that has the what do they call it? Osmosis, reverse osmosis.
Osmosis. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
a reverse osmosis. Yeah.
Yep. But that's only for her house. Once I get out there, we'll see what happens. That's true, country homesteading. We don't have, I have looked to see if we have cattails, or we don't have any around here. And then somebody told me, well, it has to be, it's usually swampy, and we don't have any swamps, so I guess that's why.
Okay, country homesteading. Yeah, the only place I can get cattails is probably Lake Tarpon or St. John's River, or you got to go inland for them. But that's okay.
I go 15 minutes down the road and get cattails.
Nice.
It's nice, yep.
Not that
When
I
I
know
was
what
doing,
I do with them, but hey, I know if worse comes to worse, I know where I can get some.
well, that's when I was doing floral design. Um, I would go out, I don't even know what it's called. The tip looks like it's kind of a wheat. I don't know if y'all have that up there, but it's got a straw-like stem, and then it looks like a wheat top. And I picked those. We had a lot of stuff growing outside naturally that uh, we could use. You have to treat it, or you get in trouble. But and I was always looking for the cattails, and I would just have to buy those fake.
Gigi, we got to go up here.
Hi, Victor. Because if I was doing a easel for a funeral for a man, I like to use things like that.
How long did you do arrangements, Bonnie?
Oh goodness, about 10 years.
Wow.
I still, if the girls bring me a bouquet of flowers, I arrange them myself.
Awesome.
And we have a farm that you can go to and get fresh flowers really cheap, like
Right.
a giant sunflower is $1.
I don't think she saw a chain.
What was his last chat?
He said something about he thought he was going on at 8:30.
Oh, no problem. Go on at 8:30.
Shane, I would only that she was online for an hour and a half. That's not Bonnie. You know better.
I told him he can go on whenever he wants to. It's not a Yes,
He's
different.
gonna wait. He's gonna wait till you go off before he goes on. I just can't understand why he has not come up on chat yet. Because he's always up in your chat. Am I not correct, Bonnie?
That's a neat idea for your channel. Battle of the Bands from the 50s. In this corner, we have Shane at 6'5", 250 pounds. In this corner, I have to say to the chat, I had to shut it down. I can't see it. So you can say what you want about me over there now.
There was a link earlier in chat, Shane. How do you think I got up here?
Scroll back and see the little brown bar. Say,
It's not going to be there now, I don't think. Chat's been going quite quickly tonight, so. Good night, Kim.
So,
You're funny, Sean.
oh, yeah.
Sorry, Bonnie, I wasn't trying to be a bonehead either.
It's all right.
Dorinda, are you shaking the tree again?
I might be. You never know. I was out picking apples off a tree today so I can make some more applesauce. And I was out picking pine cones so that I have pine cones for crafts.
Well, Shane.
Hello, Shane.
Hello, all. I was
Hello,
not going
Shane.
to. Hello, Eric, Brenda, Bonnie, likewise. I was not going to bounce up here while you was in the middle of your train of thought and the things you wanted to do. I was not going to interrupt that. So that's why I didn't come up earlier. I wanted to wait till it simmered down. Then I got a couple calls. People want me to go on. I said, well, I know Bonnie's getting her grandbaby. So I knew she was going to be shutting down when she gets the grandbaby for a little bit at least. And so I thought, well, I'll go on then.
Shane, if you are getting phone calls from people wanting you to go on, go on.
You know how I am, hon.
Look at Victor's at it again.
Knock yourself out, Victor. I'm not even over there. So all you want.
Oh, that's funny.
You can't shoot what you can't see.
No, Bonnie, like I said, I like to respect you and Chuck, and y'all were here before me, so I'm not going to go stepping and stomping on toes or trying to. I mean, if you go until 9, then I'll just go on after that. You go the rest of the night, I guess I'll just stay here with you. Pester you.
Shane sounds almost Canadian. I'm sorry. I won't do that again.
Well, it is what it is.
We're converting the Americans. They're apologizing a lot lately.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going the other way around. Americans have had enough. No, the whole world's had enough.
Yeah, I think that the world's at its breaking point.
The world's tired of the poop.
Yep. There's plenty of poop.
Well, the world's tired of big government. And the problem is,
you don't have to make that now. In our opinion, my opinion.
Yeah, I don't worry about it anymore.
Nope.
I blow right through his too. I don't care.
You had a long show the other night, Shane. I'm sorry I missed it.
Well, go back and watch it. You didn't.
I will. I
Last
haven't
night
yet
wasn't too bad.
because I got home and the blurb when I first turned YouTube on, Bonnie's blurb was on. She was going on in like 15 minutes, and I was like all excited. So I didn't really check, but I did notice that you had gone on. But you knew that I was going to be away yesterday, so.
Oh, yeah.
I was too busy watching the Northern Lights, or the Aurora Borealis, as you call them, and the stars.
Nice. Now, Shane, last night you had a lot of patience, but the testosterone level got to a little bit of nauseum. So,
Yeah, and that's why I had to boot them both. And here's what I got to thinking about that today. Here's two neighbors basically, and humanity can't figure out why we're in this mess we're in. It's because of them two right there. People just like that.
Yep.
They're next door to each other, and yet they can't even get along. And it was all over something as dumb as a shirt. That's it. And so I was like, you two go ahead.
It is what it is, right?
Yep, it is what it is. And that's what I said.
People are going to love and people are going to hate. And there's no changing them. So.
I told them, I warned them. Y'all keep it up, but I'm going to have to boot you. I'll boot both of you. So I ain't going to have this up here. By God, it wasn't 15 seconds later. They was at it again. I was, all right, guys, I'm done with you. I'm sorry, but y'all can come back, but you ain't going to be up here on the panel at the same time. I booted them. I threw them both out.
Bonnie's chats are much more low key, which is nice.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's a different atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And
calming. Good to see you too, Victor. Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's a nice car.
That was at the reunion yesterday, and my son's I think he's in the passenger seat, maybe in the driver's seat.
So let's see. That looks. I'm sorry, Bonnie. I'm just looking at I got to blow this up. So
I might can.
Okay, so that's. Well, he's got a tunnel ram on that. Looks like a big block Chevy, and I would prefer side pipes. I don't like the stacks.
I don't either.
That's me.
Right.
I like the side stacks that double as a
on a pickup. Yeah. You know what that is, though? That's just a set of headers turned upside down. That's all that is.
Yep. Pretty much.
Nice.
It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
like
really
stuff like
cool
that.
looking truck.
Shane, I was going to surprise you on the next live. I'm going to write it out.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
Well, a program manager, I got to watch out for you. So I watched those two guys up there, arguing. So I went to Amazon and I got an 8-foot stuffed squirrel. So anybody comes up there, they're going to face the squirrel. That should settle them down.
Well, thank you, Red. I appreciate that.
No, it's fine. You'll notice on your credit card, the $18,931. Stuffed squirrels are rather expensive.
Yeah, well, I bet that one can go through. Insufficient funds to be there.
Well, how long did it take? Usually, I think a month and a half to stop that night, but still, she had it set down.
Absolutely, Sean. Too much negativity. Too many people creating fear. Too many people trying to stir people up that are already stirred up.
Oh, yeah. People love to throw salt on the wound.
So what's everyone doing tomorrow?
Good question. I get confused about Labor Day. Maybe somebody can give me a good explanation of what it's supposed to mean.
Trade unions, period.
Huh?
Trade unions, period. That's all it is. Honor the trade unions.
No, I got it with me this time, Red. Sitting right here next to me. Well, I was just pretty curious what Labor Day really meant. I know what it's supposed to mean, but I'd like to hear somebody else's opinion on that.
Every Labor Day, the UAW would have buses lined up to bus you to gathering. And you're supposed to go if you're really a trade union. I never did. I don't know what it's like.
Because back at the turn of the century, they used to call that slave labor. And they dropped the slavery part, and now they just call it Labor Day. I kind of thought about that today too. It's like there's something about that. It actually, so I went back and tried to look at it a little bit. I had to look at some of the old when it first arranged to come out, when the holiday originally started, and what it was about. The only thing I could see was it's a celebration of slave labor, basically.
Really?
One day we get to celebrate that we're slaves.
No. Okay. This is what Wikipedia says.
Okay.
Federal holiday in the United States celebrated on the first Monday in September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievements of the United States.
Okay.
So I waited a bouquet of carrots, right? I was ready.
Well, and if you break that down, it can go that way because the more people they can convince that's the greatest thing in the world is to become part of the labor force, the more money the government makes. Because they get paid to do nothing, and they call it taxes. We do all the work, they get all the money. Well, that's slave labor. Because I read the same thing, buddy. Yep, yeah, that's what Bonnie just read too, Fred. But why would the federal people really give two craps? Now, but back in the turn of the century, maybe they did back then. Maybe they did. They really cared about the American people. Now, not so much.
I don't know. Is anything going on at the White House?
Yeah, what Red said. Red said, yep, what Red said.
True discernment. Nobody knows if anything's going on at the White House.
I haven't heard a thing. I looked at a few headlines today. I was going to try to get a little bit of stuff for tonight if I decide to go on. And
You too.
I couldn't find anything really. I'm sure there's stuff going on, but I just couldn't find anything that I was interested in talking about too much. Yeah, NZ Devs, I hope everybody has a great tomorrow. I hope they have a great every day.
I'd rather look at spending Labor Day with your family, and that tells you why you labor, the real true meaning of why you worked so hard last year. That's just me.
Well, my family has to work. They don't get a holiday.
We're going to The Labor Day celebration's here tomorrow. So that should be cool. Haven't done that in a few years.
How many are you going?
My husband, my daughter, and myself.
Did you arrange to local maternity ward at the hospital to see if they can accommodate you?
The hospital can go kiss my rear end.
Oh, okay. How do you spell that?
We ain't going to anywhere near it. If I can.
Labor Day maternity ward.
Well, they usually have like things for kids and things for adults and whatever. We'll go check it out. If it's boring, we'll leave. We'll come home. I don't care. My husband was a steel workers union rep for 23 years. So we used to be very involved in the Labor Day movement, but since he went to security, it's totally different.
Country homesteading. Have a good evening.
Good night, country. See you on Shane's if he goes live later.
Yeah, it just depends on what time it is.
He will. I'm gonna close pretty soon.
Do what now?
I said you will. I'm gonna close pretty soon.
All right. Well, I'll bail here in about 10 minutes and get everything set up. Shouldn't take me very long.
Okay.
I got to figure out a title. Did you like my title last night?
I didn't notice it.
Don't remember it.
Okay. Everyone welcome. Till you're not. More people commented on that than my whole damn show.
Well, stop hearing from the script and it might go a bit better.
Yeah, that stopped some of the argument on my channel, that's for sure. I had to boot a few out last night. I wasn't going to pick sides, so I just boot them both. It's the easiest way to do it. If they both hate me, so be it. I didn't know them before they show up. Guess won't know them after. Now, if one of them comes back or both of them come back, that's great. Sit and chat for a while because they ain't both coming up on the panel at the same time.
Were they both more or less the same channel?
Excuse me?
Were they both more or less from the same channel?
No, they was from one was from Wales and one was from Scotland.
Oh, those two. You don't do that.
Yeah, Simon and Andrew.
You don't do that. It never goes well.
They're neighbors. I figured they'd get along, but they got an argument over a jumper or a hoodie, whatever you want to call them.
Jumper is more or less a sweater, what you call a sweater.
Yeah, that's what they call it over there, I guess. So I figured out now.
You're talking.
Wow.
You got
I'm gonna have to go watch it.
That last 10 minutes, I was like, I'm done. Do what, buddy?
Simon was from London. You had two others that were from Wales and Scotland.
That's right. Yeah, Ben was from Scotland. I'm sorry. I apologize. You are correct. Yeah, Simon was from London. And he couldn't tell you anything that was going on over there. One thing he did know is the Queen wasn't dead.
Oh my.
All you needed to do is have a Northern Ireland man, Irishman, and that would have set it off. Holy mackerel.
Well, I'm not real sure that Simon was from London.
I'm not real sure either. He didn't have a London accent by no means.
Shane, just go over and Google how to make nitroglycerin, and you say, take one Northern Irishman, add 2 Scotsmen, and a dash of Englishman, leave simmer, and do not tap it. It doesn't go well.
Well, it was getting pretty nuclear on mine, and so I nuked them both.
John, that's beautiful. I love it.
I do too.
Yeah.
Sean, we all need to think about that.
Yep.
I think that way.
Me too.
Yeah, don't keep it long because I'm fixing to do what?
I actually know a lot of people in England, and they're pretty mellow, pretty like that.
True discernment.
You get those Scots battling. Oh boy, they're stubborn folk. I know I'm Scottish. A
Scottish
descendant.
and Irish both are a little frisky.
I'm sorry, Shane. What did you say?
I said Scottish and Irish are both a little frisky.
Yeah.
Shane,
Yes.
you need to call it what it is. They were drunk. Period. Period.
That 12-point beer don't take much.
Everyone turns into a big chest thumper when they got a buzz going.
Well, fortunately, I never got that way. Well, in my old days.
I should correct myself. Not everyone.
Yeah. Now, my younger days, that was a different story. Yeah, I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and I like to show it. Anymore, it hurts too bad to show that stuff anymore.
Yeah. And I'm too old to get in fights anyway, so.
No, that's me.
Oh, brother. Well, Miss Bonnie, I'm going to jump down. Dorinda, Shane, Mr. Black Watch, sir.
Thank you for coming up, Eric.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I got to, my little Minnie needs to go out, and I got to probably give her a little food, but I'll probably be lurking around somewhere, but, you know.
I hope your mom continues with the recovery.
I appreciate that, Black Watch. Much
Yeah,
appreciation. And once again, thanks to Red for throwing that my way, because wow, what a difference. So maybe we'll see you all later on. God bless.
God bless.
All right, buddy.
Bless
Have a
you.
good.
Good night, Eric.
Good night. I'm going to go ahead and close up, y'all, because I need to cook me some supper.
You need to do what, Bonnie? I'm sorry.
Cook me some supper. I just
Oh,
want
okay.
everybody to stay positive. Don't lose hope. God is here. Just keep your eye on that. Focus.
That's it.
See,
Don't
I
let
thought you.
the darkness
Bonnie,
over.
my brain is really farting because when you said what you said earlier about getting something to eat, that is nowhere near what I heard. I heard you were going to get paint ready for the baby. That you and the baby were going to be painting.
No.
I was like going to say, yeah, Bonnie, awesome. Yeah.
No.
We give a 2-year-old paints one day on my screened in back porch. That worked well. Give her the papers and the books, and throw the books and the paper up the side and painted my deck.
Yep.
People in different colors.
Yep.
No, I'm trying to sell the house, not.
Yeah. I wasn't real impressed.
Thank you, Mary.
No supervision, I guess, will do that too.
My home.
All right. Good night, Bonnie. You have a good night. I love you. See you tomorrow. Or yeah, whatever. All right. You have a great night.
You too.
Take care of that grandbaby, and give her a hug from me.
I will. Thank
I
you.
love you.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, Victor's got a roll of duct tape.
I don't duct tape my children.
No.
It's all lips removed with them.
Well, when the kids had chicken pox, I did duct tape gloves to their pajamas. Does that count?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
I
Hello,
She's sitting
Jim.
down. You're going to show up.
Hey, thanks for giving me a wrench, Bonnie.
You're welcome. Did it
I,
work?
I didn't try to chat yet. I still don't know what happened before. Okay, it's like trying to. There's problems with YouTube. I'll tell you an example. We started getting a blue space bar coming up on our computer, and if we hit the space bar, it don't work unless we hit shift. And then if I do that when I'm on chat sometimes, then it messes everything up.
Yeah. Well, Bonnie, I'm going to bounce. You're more than welcome after you get you something to munch on and get that baby straight. You're more than welcome to bounce on up there.
We'll
And
see.
everybody else is too. So just come on
Thank you.
over. I'm going to bounce and go get mine set up.
See
These
you in a
little
few
boys are going
minutes.
to get ready to go. All right. I'll see y'all later. Thank you, Bonnie, for having me up.
Take care, Shane.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Bonnie, Blackwatch, Dorinda, everybody in chat. I'll see you all hopefully soon.
I'm not sure if Shane's more like Merv Griffin or Johnny Carson when he's on his live thing.
I don't know. It's, I'm not getting in the middle of it tonight. I
Yeah,
was
well,
trying. I even started singing "We Are the World" or something like that. What the
Shane,
world needs now. That's what I was singing.
Shane's a good guy.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Shane in person yet, Bonnie?
No, I have not.
Okay. I guess it's a bit of a distance to drive.
It's, yeah, about 9 hours.
Wow. Have you been, Dorinda?
Not too bad. How are you, Jim?
Hoping we get some rain. The drought's so bad here. We're supposed to get some rain the next 2 days, I hope.
Yeah. And how are the Christmas trees doing? I guess not very well with the drought.
Well, stuff's getting burned. Little ones that looked fine a month ago, some have died. It's gotten to the point where I've been out in the field just moving the hose, watering big trees individually, like 6 to 8 foot tall trees.
Oh,
It's gotten to the point where
wow.
I've been out in the field just moving the hose, watering big trees individually, like 6 to 8 foot tall trees.
Oh,
It's gotten to the point where
wow.
I've been out in the field just moving the hose, watering big trees individually, like 6 to 8 foot tall trees.
Blackwatch.
What's going on?
Sorry,
Blackwatch.
Blackwatch.
Do you have? Okay, it's Blackwatch.
I had to mute him. I don't know what he's got going on there, but that was
That
bad.
was crazy.
Yeah, because I have YouTube volume turned all the way down. It was like my voice again coming from Blackwatch.
Yeah. It was like there was an echo or something, so he must have clicked YouTube on or something.
And it was being broadcast through his setup. Well, stranger things have happened.
Yep. Yes, they have.
Okay, discernment. I'm going to address you. 5 years ago, they were not allowed to walk in like they are now either. And please believe that things are happening and we will get through this. I promise
Yes,
you.
we will.
We are
And things
tough.
will be brighter on the other side. Sorry,
Yes.
Bonnie.
Trump sure seemed pretty confident last night. He was basically laughing at the deep state.
Well, he always does.
But it's almost like he's too lackadaisic about this, that he doesn't have a concern in the world.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe stuff is going on.
I really think that it is. And I think that somehow, some way, we're going to get through this.
What have both of you been watching Julie Green?
No.
Okay. Because she has
Is that
been.
the one?
She's on
Sorry, is
television, a
that?
minister. She's been predicting some of the stuff that's been going on before it's happened.
Yeah, she has. And Diamond Lil talks about it on her show, and it is, repeated on Newsman's show.
Yeah, Robert and Bonnie. Nikki B was on last night after his speech for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. And how was? Did you watch his speech last night? How'd it go? Did he say
I heard a
anything?
little. I heard a little of it. Well, he's basically calling Joe a threat to democracy in this country.
See, that just bothers me every time they say democracy. We're a republic.
Yep.
But boy, they sure are throwing that word out there constantly now, and they mean two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know. I know some people that think that everything ought to be thrown out the window, and how the states with more people ought to have more senators, and it's just like the state I live in, Pennsylvania. Basically, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia is where most of the population is, and where's 99% of the land area? The rest of the state.
Yep. Hello, Chris.
When this country was founded, according to what I remember reading years ago, they wanted to have it so a person actually had to own property to even be able to vote.
Reread the Bill of Rights. I read the Bill of Rights, and makes a lot of sense, and that's what we need to get back to. The Bill of Rights is kind of a condensation of the Constitution, I guess, is how you say it. But it tells you all of our rights.
And it doesn't mention all those hidden rights that some liberal Supreme Court judge finds every time there's a controversial case that comes up. There's all these rights we didn't realize we've had.
Yes. Even look up what the bar actually is. The association. It's pretty interesting to look up the things that we think is the law and how it has to be. But then if you start actually looking into, like, the attorneys have to take the bar exam, and you look at what the bar exam actually is,
Does that not have something to do with the Queen?
a lot of it does.
One thing I know is if a person has to hire an attorney for something and they can't afford to pay him, the attorney can't just drop their client. They have to continue with the case.
As counsel, and if I got an attorney, he would just be for counsel, not to represent me, because then you're trusting them to have your best interests above all, and that's not always the case.
Well, once they start litigation, actually, they can't really back out. I understand what you're saying. I don't trust these attorneys one bit.
No. Yep, the law of the land.
Fair. Some people say some states being a Commonwealth doesn't really mean anything. It does, because this all goes back to Old English law, which everything in this country is based on to a certain degree, but not completely.
Yes. And that's what we came here to get away from.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kind of surprises me that.
Oh, that's happening now?
Well, look at it like this. Back when this country was founded, a lot of the people that lived in the cities, they were pretty timid. They weren't like the farmers, the hunters, and fishermen. A lot of the people that lived in New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, once things started getting a little too violent for them with the American Revolution, they just went back to Great Britain. It was really the farmers that fought for this country and gained our freedom, and a lot of teenage boys.
Yes.
You figure things were different back then. Life expectancy was so much shorter. Some of the younger generation doesn't realize until it was in maybe around, I forget which year it was, around the time of either before, I think it was maybe around 1911. The average life expectancy for a man was about 50 years old in this country. Well, not
Yeah.
even that.
I was thinking it was 40.
It was in the high. It nosedived after World War One.
Yeah.
It's amazing that some of the founding fathers lived to be as old as they did. Really.
Well, I think back then they were using more of the natural. That was before the pharmaceuticals came in.
Hmm.
I really think that had a lot to do with some of the things that came about.
It seems like so many people. I saw a friend of mine today. I hadn't seen in quite a few years at a shopping center, and it seems like almost everybody I know is on high blood pressure medication, and that does have side effects. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh no.
What is it, Bonnie?
Tennessee Patriot has been getting people to sign a petition for the XL pipeline to be reinstated, to be opened back up. And Pappy just said that it's been canceled and apologized
Oh, that's too bad.
for all that's been supporting it.
The government canceled it. It's that simple. Because they don't want it.
You know, that's what I worry about, is our people, how much are they going to be pushed? And we're not ordinarily a nation to just sit and let things happen.
Well, pipelines is basically the most environmentally friendly way to transport fuel. I was
Absolutely.
reading on one website, these oil tankers coming from the Middle East create much more air pollution. And
Yep.
these pipelines, these guys are so high tech. It would take literally an act of God for one of those things to fail, like an earthquake.
Yeah. That's like our pipelines in Canada. They're really good, top of the line stuff. And our government is doing anything and everything it can to shut them down.
And the materials they use is much higher quality. The township I live in, we don't have sewers where I'm at. I have my own septic system. The sewer system is old. And even though the township is run by so-called conservatives, the sewers leak. And I know from doing research, it's cheaper for them to pay a fine to the DEP every month or every quarter, whatever it is, than to take these sewers and rip them out and redo them. Isn't that amazing, though?
Oh, Pappy's saying that it did restart in July, and Tennessee hadn't heard about it, I guess. But I know the ranchers around me, they there was a big fight about the pipeline. They didn't want the pipeline on their ranch lands, and so it was kind of a big argument. But what you're saying is true, that uh, the the trains carrying the fuel, the trucks, the whatever,
Trains and oil tankers.
yes, is putting off more, and the cost of it is a whole lot more also.
Mhm.
And the fuel, and they use the diesel fuel with the tankers coming from Saudi Arabia, put out much more emissions than the diesel fuel this country is. It,
Yes,
it's like the worst of two evils. The reason why there used to be so much more sulfur in diesel fuel is sulfur is a lubricant, and actually taking the sulfur out, they've had to redesign the engines to a certain degree, like with the oil and everything. They use to keep them lubricated, but yet at the same time, reducing the sulfur content of diesel fuel by 50%. If diesel fuel sits, algae will grow in it,
yes,
and that's an issue.
yep,
And Bonnie, how you mentioned about the ranchers? When I was a kid, I remember my grandparents had a farm. My grandfather, this was as a hobby. He started growing Christmas trees in what's now a state park. Well, I remember when there was a big to do when I was probably like 5 or 6 years old, hearing the conversations. They were putting the high tension lines in this part of the country, and people, it was basically eminent domain. People were losing ground to Philadelphia Electric, and nobody wanted the high tension lines, but you had no choice. Some people sold the ground, other people chose to keep it, but just sell their right of way to Philadelphia Electric.
yep,
But how else are you going to transmit electricity if you don't have these high tension lines, which is the high voltage electricity?
true. Well,
I knew of a gentleman that had a company, and it was funded by Congress. This is true. He was taken up to Alaska when the radar broke down and the MiGs were coming over. Anyway, you talk about this was natural gas pipeline, and there's one landowner, and they clearly put out you not to go anywhere near that. You contact us. Well, this one landowner decides I'm going to pull tree stumps and do other things. And let's just say when he pierced the gas line, he did not live to regret it. They just didn't listen. So.
Well, that's kind of like common sense. Like we get stuff in the mail every now and then. Call before you dig, and I know that I don't have any kind of underground lines here. Actually, my sister, she has a gas line that goes through her property, and must have been in the last 20 years. Actually, there's a line that goes from Texas to Pennsylvania, and they actually came on her property and dug everything up and put new lines in.
yes, and we just had one go through, not where I'm at, but close by, and I just had seen there was a lot of meetings with the ranchers, and they were really pushing say no to the pipeline. And
because even if one of these pipelines go through, let's say, a wooded area, the electric company around here, I mean, not the electric company, the company that's in charge of the pipeline, they have a company that comes in with big excavating equipment, and they cut all of the brush down over that line to keep it so accessible. If there was a leak or a fire, how are they going to get to the thing if it's all overgrown brush and trees? Because in my part of the country, if you let ground go, you get rosa multiflora, these picker bushes, they just come up everywhere.
yes,
Do they have them where you're at, Bonnie?
what is that?
Those picker bushes.
Picker bushes?
Yeah, it's called rosa multiflora. These things, some people call them a living fence. These things will get like 15, 20 foot wide if you left them go 30 years, and they got thorns on them that'll tear your clothing.
Oh goodness, I haven't seen anything like that.
Well, you're on the West Coast, I think.
I'm in the central.
You're in the central.
Yes.
Because any ground in this part of Pennsylvania, if it's let go, wild stuff comes up. Maples, oaks, cherries, walnuts, sassafras. Around here, if you let a property go for 3 years, you're going to end up with the woods. Like one tree, another one is called Russian olive, where it's put spikes out like a Washington hawthorn. And from all the research I've done and being a farmer, it's because of the climate.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe Pennsylvania was all of woods when William Penn came here.
Well, this particular pipeline was over 3 feet in diameter and raised off the ground. You gotta wonder what the man was thinking. Truly.
Oh, ours are underground.
Well, the one in Alaska, they said it actually increased the caribou population because the wildlife would go up to the thing when it was really cold and help keep them warm.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember back when I was in school in the late 60s, 70s, them talking about, it was a big to do, this pipeline coming from Alaska. I think everybody knows there's less oil going through it now, thanks to our government, than there was, let's say, just a year and a half ago.
I'm stepping out,
Yeah.
Bonnie. Have a great night. I love you.
You
I love
too,
everybody.
Brenda. Love you too.
Good night.
Take care. Good seeing you.
I think I'm going to jump down too. I'm having a very long night. I might grace Shane with my presence. I don't know.
Okay, Blackwatch. You take care. Have a good night.
Thank you to all. Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, nice seeing you again, Blackwatch.
Well, Jim, I'm going to go ahead and close it down so I can go fix me something to eat.
Hey, thanks for letting me be on, Bobby.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming up. I'm glad that we got that straightened out. That happened with someone else, and I did the same with him, made him a mod, and now he can come in too. And I don't know what happens. I know I didn't block anybody.
It's YouTube.
Yes. They just like messing with us, but keep sending that money.
Yep. Okay, take care. I'll be back again soon. You're a nice person.
Thank you. You have a good night.
I will. Bye.
Thank you all for joining me tonight. Stay safe. Stay positive. And thank you for coming and relaxing here, Sean. I appreciate all of y'all. You have a good night. God bless you.